deserving listeners, 90 Day Fiancé, let's watch. My name is Dr. Kirk Honda. I'm a therapist and a professor. As I always say, all of my content may contain triggering material, so watch with care. Let's watch.
Full son, family.
And you need to get him help. You need to get
Nuts.
mom.
We've had some drama because we have a big family. I have never seen it this bad before in my whole life.
He's got a vocabulary of a 5-year-old lunatic.
To sit down and talk it through. He's incapable of that.
Who came at
It's interesting to see the different alliances that are happening in the family right now. Perfect time for a family therapist. As I always say, when you fall off the roof and you break your arm, you go to a physician, and when you have a family like this, you get a family therapist.
who?
He's a psycho.
Who came at who out there? He's saying he came at him.
psychopath.
How are you listening to that? You
And
sat there and watched it, didn't you?
sit
The
and
came right in his
you
face.
So who do you think is to blame here for what happened?
I mean,
Charlie?
Charlie came in
Andrei?
on fire, and then Andrei. I mean, they're both to blame. They're both idiots.
to blame.
This guys too, and all it's all talk.
All right, I think I missed something. I thought Andrei went at him, but maybe Charlie went at him. But anyway, from the other guy's opinion, they're both to blame, and they're both idiots. Becca seems to blame Charlie, but yeah, they're clearly both to blame.
My dad tonight. My family won't ever be the same after tonight.
No way.
You could have just came in and sat down. That's it. That's all you had to do.
You don't tell me what the to do. I'll come in and say what the I want to say and talk my
Yeah, and you get dropped to the floor.
I will be in that again, okay?
So this is a microcosm of world wars, of political strife, of racial violence. I say that because when you just assume that the other people are the enemy and that you're entitled to whatever, and aggression and hostility is your tool of choice, then this is what you get. You get destruction, you get sadness, you get self-destruction, you get nothing, and you gain nothing from this. And have we learned nothing as human beings? It is so human to do this, and also completely destructive. Why? Charlie could have come in and said, all right, I'll sit down. But you hear his attitude, you hear Andrei's, we've heard it from the beginning. I will not back down. He's not going to talk to me that way. I'm not going to be disrespected. And meanwhile, you're disrespecting everyone around you, including yourself.
Hey,
Loser.
yeah, I know.
Cannot believe you allowed that to do this to our family. Insane! Insanity! Like craziness! When have we ever had these?
And the other thing that I think she is exhibiting, you hear it in her voice, this is traumatic for everyone. This is not just like some kind of scuffle. I think the fear and the violence and the hostility and the pain can have long-lasting damaging effects. People can be driven to addiction. It can cause more conflict in relationships. It can cause, it wouldn't be unusual for someone to come into therapy and need like half a year of therapy just to deal with this event alone because of the infusion of fear and terror and the feeling of rejection and the feeling of, can I trust other people? Like this all can be, even for people that were just observing this whole thing, it can really cause a lot of damage.
Issues. And fight Charlie.
And you sit there and like watch it. If I'm not being a good dad, you let this bitch ass son-in-law of yours
You aren't.
try to fight your son. Whose side are you on?
This is his dad's house, not Andrei's dad's house.
Yikes. So Chuck, in the middle of it, says, if I'm not being a good dad, I think he's going to say, like, then I'm sorry. And he starts to cry, and they continue to yell at him. Have a heart in this moment.
Andrei needs to know what's up.
And you got your hand Andrei's ass so.
And they're still concerned about Andrei and him in business. It's interesting. I wonder if the dad, Chuck, feels like he's created a monster, that he centered his family life and bonding around money and around access to resources, money and jobs and certain gigs. And, Charlie is so focused on getting those resources and getting those from Chuck. And Chuck is just like, I created and we heard, I don't know if I showed this earlier, but Chuck was saying, I don't need the family business. Like, screw the family business. Can't we just get along? And I wonder if for Chuck, he created the family business and worked really hard and incorporated his kids and other people into his business as a way of trying to bond people, as a way of trying to get people to, have that family feeling that I think he wants to have. But he did it in this imbalanced way, maybe, that there wasn't enough attachment and there was too much focus on material goods and as I've been saying earlier, a flight from white trash that they're trying to avoid. I don't know that, but there seemed to be some classist underpinnings in their arguments, and they will literally, and she, or was it Becca, was yelling at the two of them like, "You're white trash, you're trash, you're white trash." So there seems to be some kind of complex they might have around that. But anyway, so it's interesting to have watched this family for a long time and to see the journey of Chuck, because in the beginning I thought Chuck was much more like a Charlie, but as time has gone on, I think perhaps one of the nicest and most relatable people in this whole family is Chuck, which is a surprise to me.
Do not want to hear that ever again.
Well, it's the truth. You let that happen, okay?
My son keeps saying that, Dad, you should have like done this, done that, done this, done that. And it's not so easy as a parent because you're trying to help every one of your kids. And I don't feel like I caused this. I just was allowing my daughter's husband to come into our business.
You try to cancel me.
I'm not trying to cancel you.
You've been like hanging out with Andrei, you know what I'm saying?
No.
Okay, so I don't know, but Charlie probably exists in a certain echo chamber that I won't name that is obsessed currently with cancel culture. And he's so misinformed, or he's been brainwashed or something, or the echo chamber is just so ridiculous about the definition of cancel culture that because Chuck has gone into business with his brother-in-law and Charlie feels a little pushed out, that he's equating that with being canceled. He's thinking that he's a victim of cancel culture. I mean, I don't know if that's what he's saying, but it kind of sounds like what he's saying.
Yes, that's what happened.
I was happy to see you, son. I was happy to see you. We came into tonight divided, and I was hoping that we could unite, and that didn't happen. And that's really sad for me as a dad. I'm sorry.
I wonder if he thinks that he's created a monster, that he early in his life really wanted to connect with other people, as most people do, but he didn't know how to connect, and so he connected through business, cultivated this culture in his family of money and being involved with him in business. The kids bought into that, everyone bought into that idea, but then when this outsider comes in and Chuck also tries to involve him, they feel there's some kind of threat there. It lights a match and reveals that there is really very little bond between these people. They're only bonded through their greed or their desire for money and power. And they don't really love each other, and they don't really love, or they don't really like Chuck. They only like Chuck for what he's giving to them. So I wonder if Chuck is crying because of that. He just feels like, I thought I created this wonderful thing of the family centered around business and centered working together. You finally have a family and people with, together, working together, contact. But it was on a foundation of materialism and greed and competition instead of a foundation of love and attachment. I don't know, but that would explain some of his tears.
I've had enough for one day.
Yeah, I bet.
I'm done. It's time to go.
Thanks for the invite, man. He got me on the ground. He got me that one time. It is what it is. But guess what? I'll be back. I'd rather be back. I'd rather see them again. No, I'll be.
Please, Charlie, do not come back. Let's just put an end to it. Let's just never hang out, or let's not film it. Let's just let them duke it out with each other, have it be that. I don't know, but I'm sort of hoping that they just let bygones be bygones, really.
See her, I don't want to see them. Like, that's it. Look at me. I'm ripped now, like, because I came here for a party.
I mean, like, I don't know. Man.
You don't have to defend the Honestly, Chuck, like, has to make up his mind. He chooses us, like, over the rest of the family.
Right. That's the dominant narrative right now. It's like, who is Chuck going to choose? And everyone's trying to vie for his preference, and he better reject those other people. And that usually is indicative of people who have ongoing traumas in a family of lack of love and attunement, because you feel like you're being ripped off and you need, hey, I need your undivided attention, and I don't want you to give attention to that person because I'm craving it and you haven't given me enough. Now, Andrei isn't from this family originally, but maybe he had a similar situation when he was growing up. I don't know. But what a situation that it puts Chuck in. Of course, Chuck he doesn't want to reject any of his kids. He wants everyone to get along, naively.
Or he chooses the rest, like, over us. I'm over this. I'm over this, Chuck.
And I think the only measure that people will measure his quote-unquote love is resources and money. And I think that's the unspoken context that everyone's talking about is you are giving him money. You're giving him a job that's going to give him money. And you better give me a job that gives me money. And Chuck's over here thinking, can't we all just work together and make sacrifices for each other sometimes and not be so focused on this money thing? But I wonder how much Chuck participated in the creation of that value in the family. I don't know.
This was a really traumatic night, seeing my family so polarized. I don't write down what the best thing is.
And it's notable that no one in the family seems to care about Chuck's feelings, because he's cried in front of them, all of them. And at least from what we've seen, there's no gesture about caring about Chuck. Now, you can have a problem with him, sure, but your family and you care, and he's sad and he's crying, and it's notable that no one hugged him, that no one held his hand, that no one noticed or said, yeah, I'm sad with you too. No one did that. It was all posturing, violence, hostility, competition, talks about money, ongoing conflicts.
I don't want to see my family.
Go. Just leave, okay? Just go.
It really hurt me. I didn't want to see that.
Yeah, that's a healthy emotion. That's the most healthy emotional expression we've seen ever in this family. It is sad. It is hurtful. It is painful. And that is that primary emotion expression. And I'm glad that he can express that. And I'm sad that the rest of the family can't. All right, well, that does it for that episode. If you didn't know already, we have a Discord and a subreddit and a Facebook and an Instagram. Join us there and see pictures of my animals. And take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.